Your body might look fine. You go about your day, get dressed, smile at people, maybe even crack a joke or two. But inside, there's a kind of tiredness that no amount of sleep can fix. It's not in your bones. It's in your mind. The exhaustion that comes from thinking too much, too often, too deeply. You overanalyze every sentence you said, every glance someone gave you, every word you could have said differently. And even when you're resting, you're not really resting. You're rehearsing imaginary scenarios, reviewing mistakes, preparing responses for conversations that may never happen. There's a weight that sits on your chest, not heavy enough to collapse you, but heavy enough to slow you down. You scroll through your phone, not because you're interested, but because silence makes your thoughts louder. Music, YouTube, games, even random background noise. It's not entertainment anymore. It's survival. You need the noise to drown out your own mind. Because when the room goes quiet, your brain doesn't. It speeds up. And suddenly, you're in a fake argument. You're losing a friend. You're being judged, dismissed, forgotten. All in your head. You smile out of habit. You laugh when you're supposed to. You nod and say, "Yeah, I'm good," when people ask. But under that practiced ease, your brain is scanning. Were you too quiet just now? Did that person just raise their eyebrow? Do they think you're boring? You don't want to care so much. You'd love to just be in the moment. But your mind is always pulling you out of it, pointing out what could go wrong. What already did. Even around people you love, it's there. That subtle hum of worry. That need to double-check everything you say. You can be sitting with friends, laughing, sharing stories, and part of your brain is still wondering if you said too much, if you made it awkward, if they actually like you or if they're just being polite. It's not that you want to question everything. You just can't seem to stop. Your brain thinks it's protecting you, but really it's just wearing you down. You become really good at hiding it. People call you thoughtful, introspective, calm. They don't know how much noise you're managing behind the scenes. They don't see the mental gymnastics, the constant emotional calculations, the second-guessing that never ends. They see a quiet person, not someone trying to stay upright in the middle of an invisible storm. And the hardest part? You still don't feel like you're doing enough. You feel guilty for being tired, for needing space, for not being more present, even though you're fighting a mental battle all day long. That's the silent exhaustion of overthinking. It's not dramatic or loud. It's quiet, subtle, and persistent. It doesn't knock you over in one go. It chips away slowly over time. It makes you doubt yourself, question your worth, and overcompensate just to feel okay. And it hides so well that sometimes, even you forget it's there. You just know that you're tired. Not in your body, but in your soul. And no one really sees why. Because when you're doing nothing on the outside, you're doing everything on the inside. And that kind of tired doesn't show. But it's real. And it's heavy. You reread texts, again and again. Not because you forgot what they said, but because you're trying to decode the hidden meaning behind their words. Was that period too cold? Was that LOL genuine or just polite? Did they mean what they said or were they just trying to end the conversation? You scroll up, down, and back again. You draft replies, pause, delete, type again. You wonder if you're saying too much or not enough. Then you wonder if they've seen it, if they left you on read, if they opened it too soon. Maybe they didn't read it properly. Maybe they're overthinking too, but probably not like you. You rehearse conversations in your head before they happen, what you'll say, how you'll say it, where you might pause to seem more relaxed. Then, after the conversation, you replay every second. You analyze their tone, your words, the timing of your laugh, the look they gave you when you said that one thing. You imagine other ways it could have gone. A version where you were more confident, more witty, more graceful. A version where you didn't stumble, didn't overshare, didn't walk away feeling exposed. It's not just about conversations, though. You notice things. You remember tiny details other people forget. How someone's expression shifted when you said something vulnerable. How long it took for them to respond. That offhand comment they didn't think twice about but that stayed lodged in your chest like a splinter. You replay it all. Not because you want to, but because you can't not. Your mind is constantly sorting, comparing, categorizing. You try to find meaning in silences. You try to explain what wasn't said. You try to find closure for things that never really opened to begin with. It's not a game. It's survival. You're trying to stay safe, emotionally, socially, mentally. You're trying to stay ahead of rejection, disappointment, embarrassment. If you can just think it through enough, maybe you can avoid the pain. People see you sitting quietly and think you're calm. They think you're chill, easygoing. But inside, you're in a loop. Your mind is loud. It's not a voice shouting. It's 1,000 thoughts whispering at the same time. Every word you say or hear echoes longer than it should. Every look, every gesture, every silence is examined under a microscope. Overthinking doesn't look like much from the outside. It looks like hesitation. It looks like someone taking their time. But what's really happening is a flood. 1,000 questions. A search for certainty that never arrives. It's not that you want to doubt everything. It's that your brain has been trained to. Maybe from past hurt. Maybe from a lifetime of trying to be perfect, to be accepted, to avoid making waves. It becomes a habit. Not a conscious one, but a reflex. It's not a decision anymore. It's the default. And even when you catch yourself doing it, you can't stop. You think too much. And then you start thinking about why you think too much. You wonder if you're annoying, if you're exhausting people, if you're exhausting yourself. You wonder if people would love you more if you could just relax. If you could just be. But the truth is, it's not that easy. Overthinking doesn't come with an off switch. It comes with layers. It comes with memories that stuck too hard and rejections that echoed too long. It comes from care, too much care. You want to get it right. You want to connect. You want to be safe. And that want turns into watchfulness, into habit, into silence that looks peaceful but feels like a storm. And so you think, and keep thinking even when you wish you didn't have to. You've lived with this for so long that you've stopped questioning it. The racing thoughts, the endless replays, the late-night spirals, they've become your normal. You assume everyone lies awake like you do, staring at the ceiling, replaying old conversations or imagining future disasters. You assume everyone sends a message and then immediately regrets how it sounded. You think everyone over-prepares, over-apologizes, overthinks. But deep down, in the quiet moments, you know they don't. You see people let go with ease. You watch them move on without needing to analyze every angle. You hear them say, "Don't worry about it," and actually mean it. And you wonder how. There are moments you envy them, the lightness they carry, the way they can forget, move forward, stay present. You wonder what it feels like to truly rest, not just physically, but mentally. To not have a mind that doubles back on everything. You tell yourself you're just built this way, and maybe you are. But that doesn't mean you don't deserve peace. Maybe the way your mind works isn't wrong. Maybe it's rooted in something meaningful. Maybe your overthinking comes from a place of care. Maybe it's not about fear as much as it is about wanting to understand everything fully. You care deeply. You feel things intensely. You're trying to connect, to make sense of the world, to avoid hurting others and being hurt. That kind of awareness isn't a flaw. It's a form of intelligence, of empathy, of depth. But even with that understanding, it's still exhausting. It still takes energy to think so much, to carry so many questions, to hold on to memories others let go of with ease. It doesn't mean you're broken, it means you've been carrying too much for too long. And it's okay to admit that. It's okay to want stillness, to want softness, to crave rest not just for your body, but for your mind. You don't need to be on guard all the time. You don't need to fix every thought, answer every doubt, solve every emotion. You deserve a break from all the mental effort. You deserve to breathe, not because you've earned it, not because you've finally silenced the noise, but simply because you exist. That's enough. So maybe tonight, when the thoughts come back, as they always do, you don't have to resist them. You don't have to argue with them, or follow them down another spiral. Just notice them. Watch them drift in and let them drift out. Like clouds in the sky, floating past. They don't define you. They're just passing through. You are not the storm. You are the sky. The thoughts are temporary. The space that holds them, you, is steady, constant, and calm underneath it all. Let that truth settle in. You are not your thoughts. You are the one witnessing them. You are allowed to pause, to not have all the answers, to not perform or explain or hold it together all the time. Even if no one else sees the weight you carry, you can choose to set it down, even for a moment. Maybe tonight, instead of fighting for silence, you can simply let it come. Gently, slowly, through your breath. Inhale, exhale. That's enough. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be. So close your eyes. Let the world keep spinning. Let your mind rest for a while. Let it wander without chasing it. You are safe here. You are enough. And maybe, just maybe, you're ready to stop running from your thoughts and start letting them pass like waves, soft and slow. Maybe it's time to pause and just breathe.